Most women have been taught their entire lives to make themselves smaller. Not in those words, never that directly. But in 100 small corrections absorbed over years. Cross your legs, move over, don't take up too much space, don't be too loud, don't draw too much attention. And most women have followed those instructions so thoroughly for so long that they no longer notice they are doing it. They sit folded, they stand contracted, they shrink at tables, in lobbies, in waiting rooms, in meetings. And they do it automatically, without thought, because it was trained into them before they were old enough to question it. And then they wonder why certain rooms do not receive them the way they expected. This video is for the woman who has done everything right, the wardrobe, the grooming, the preparation, and still walks out of rooms feeling like she left something on the table. Like the impression she made was slightly less than the woman she actually is. Like the space she occupied was smaller than the one she deserved. Because here is what I have watched in 15 years of being in rooms with women who are received at the highest level. They do not shrink, not even slightly. And it is not because they are wealthy. It is because of something they have built, a specific physical relationship with space that signals authority before they say a single word. That is what today is about. I'm Isabel Vargas. Welcome back to Madre, or welcome for the first time. This channel exists for one kind of woman, the one who is done settling for ordinary. Subscribe right now if you are new. You belong here. Drop your city in the comments. I am always reading them. Now let's get into it. One, the way a woman sits is the first thing a room decides about her. I want to tell you about a lunch I attended a few years ago. Private dining room, Midtown Manhattan. 6 women, all at similar levels professionally. Founders, senior executives, one woman who sat on 3 corporate boards. And within the first 5 minutes of everyone being seated, before the menus had even been opened, I already knew which woman was going to command that table. Not because of what she was wearing, not because of anything she had said, because of how she sat. She took the full chair. Not aggressively, there was no performance in it. She simply occupied the seat completely. Her back was not touching the backrest, but her spine was straight and unhurried. Her hands were resting on the table, visible still. She did not cross her legs. She did not tuck herself. She was simply present. Completely, quietly, physically present in a way that the other women in that room, some of whom were objectively more accomplished, were not. By the end of the first course, every significant exchange at that table was directionally oriented toward her. Not because she spoke the most. She didn't. But because the room had already made its assessment in the first 5 minutes. And that assessment was built entirely on how she occupied her chair. Research from Princeton University on thin-sliced judgments found that observers form stable, accurate assessments of dominance and social status from exposure of less than 30 seconds, primarily through postural and spatial cues, before verbal content is processed at all. The room is deciding before you open your mouth. The only question is what it is deciding. This is precisely why the internal curriculum matters before the external corrections. Because the way you sit when no one important is watching is the way you will sit when everyone is. The standard cannot be turned on. It has to be built, which is exactly what the Undeniables blueprint was designed to do. 30 days, 70 pages, 4 phases of the internal and physical work that produces a woman who walks into any room already received. It is $47. It is linked as the first thing in the description below and can also be accessed by scanning the QR code on your screen right now. And if this is the work you know you need, that is where it lives. Go get it. Over 50 women are already using the program since it launched on the 1st of April. I'll be waiting to meet you inside. Now, back to the habits. 2, how you stand communicates your relationship to your own authority. There is a specific posture I have watched women adopt in social situations that costs them more than almost anything else they do. I call it the apologetic stand. You will recognize it immediately. Weight shifted to one hip, one foot turned slightly inward, arms crossed or hands clasped in front of the body, head tilted. The entire physical arrangement of a person who is not entirely sure they are supposed to be where they are. I have watched extraordinarily capable women adopt this posture the moment they enter a room where they feel even slightly uncertain, a networking event, a room where they know fewer people, a setting that is slightly above the level they are used to. And the moment they do it, the room reads it. Not consciously, but the assessment is made. She is not fully at ease here, and the treatment that follows reflects that assessment precisely. The women I have watched command rooms, a venture capitalist I know in New York, a diplomat I met through my work in DC, a woman my mother knew from Lyon, who walked into every room in her 70s as though she had designed it herself, stand the same way regardless of the setting. Weight distributed evenly, feet hip-width apart or in a clean cross-step stance, hands visible at their sides or lightly occupied, head level, nothing tucked, nothing contracted. A study from Harvard Business School on expansive posture found that individuals who adopted upright, open physical stances before high-stakes interactions reported significantly higher internal confidence and were rated by external observers as more authoritative and more credible, independent of what they actually said. The posture is not the performance. It is the preparation. It changes the internal state first, and the room reads the result. 3. How much space you take up is a direct signal of how much you believe you are worth. This is the one that is most deeply trained out of women, and the one that, when corrected, produces the most immediate visible change in how a room responds. Space is not neutral. The amount of physical space a person occupies at a table, in a lobby, in a meeting room, is read by every person in that room as a direct indicator of social status and internal certainty. This is not a social construct. It is neurological. Amy Cuddy's research at Harvard and subsequent studies replicating her core findings consistently show that spatial expansion, taking up more physical space, correlates with higher perceived status across cultures and contexts. The women who are received at the highest level do not compress their belongings into the smallest possible footprint at a restaurant table. They do not sit with their elbows pulled into their body as though apologizing for their arms. They do not arrange themselves to take up less space when someone sits beside them. They expand. Not rudely, not at the expense of anyone else's comfort. But they do not compress themselves to manage another person's ease. Their coat goes over the chair, their bag goes beside them, not hidden under the table. Their arms rest with ease, not pinned. They occupy their actual physical space, completely, naturally, without apology. A woman I was seated next to at a gallery opening in Chelsea a few years ago, old New York family, the kind of woman who had never once in her life wondered if she belonged somewhere, took up space in a way I found genuinely instructive. Not large movements, not dramatic, just a complete absence of self-compression. She was simply all the way there, and every person who approached her in that room did so with a specific quality of attention that I watched the other women in the room not receive. The difference was entirely physical and entirely built. 4. The women who command rooms have made peace with being seen. This is the internal shift that underpins everything: the sitting, the standing, the space. Because the reason most women compress themselves physically is not bad posture. It is an unresolved relationship with visibility. Being fully physically present, taking up your actual space, sitting completely in your chair, standing without contraction, makes you visible. And for women who have been taught, explicitly or implicitly, that visibility is presumptuous, that taking up space is selfish, that making yourself smaller is the polite and appropriate thing to do, full physical presence feels uncomfortable. It feels like too much, and so they compress, automatically, without deciding to, as a default built over years of absorbing the instruction to be less. The women I have watched receive rooms at the highest level have made peace with being seen, not performed peace, built peace. Through the private, daily, repetitive practice of occupying their space completely, even when no one important was watching, especially when no one important was watching, until it stopped being a practice and became simply how they existed in the world. That is the work. That is where it lives. Not in the external correction, but in the internal decision, made daily, in private, to stop apologizing for the space you take up. Your assignment, your next 3 social situations, a meeting, a dinner, any room that matters. Choose one physical habit from today and practice it completely. Sit in the full chair. Stand without shifting your weight. Keep your hands visible and still. Come back and tell me which one you chose and what the room did differently. I read every comment. Until next time, you are not here by accident. You are an undeniable. Act like it. Isabel.